We're talking about hair extension marketing secrets. We got to attract high-paying clients. What is
Secrets?
secrets? We got a lot of secrets. I have some fascinating stats for you. I did a little bit of a deep dive on this one. You know, I like to nerd out on this stuff.
Okay.
So I come up with a couple of notes here, but there's some interesting statistics that I want to discuss about as well, in addition to come up with some of these strategies on how to advertise and market.
I'm not telling any of my secrets.
You're not telling any of your secrets. You're gonna look. I am successful because I figured it out. Now get good.
Yeah, I mean, I literally am going to share some stuff here that could change people's lives if they would just do it. You know, till this day, I think, all right, what are the people that are more successful than me doing right now? I don't even know who they are necessarily, or if they would tell me anything, but if they would, I would say, tell me what I'm doing wrong and what I should be doing right, and I will do it. I want to do better. And so this is that scaled down to, we are ready to tell you, if you're not, some of you are doing better than us, good for you. But some of you aren't doing as good as we are. And we're going to share how we got here. I'm going to break it down at the end and just make it really simple. And things have changed, but what are you going to nerd out on first?
So the first thing, okay, so here, let me pull this over here. Because
all right, while you're pulling that up, I'm going to say a little bit then.
This is fast.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you realize 80% of the revenue generated is from hair extensions? So, okay, if you are a salon that provides
in salons across the country,
salons across the country that offer all services, including hair extensions, and they are actively doing all services, right? 80% of the revenue at the end of the year is generated from hair extensions, but the hair extension services only represent 20% of the services performed. So you're doing a hell of a lot more haircuts, hair color, keratin smoothing, perms, relaxers.
You know what's fascinating about that is that it's the basic 80-20 rule.
Right? Isn't that so cool? It applies here. When I saw that, I was like, oh, that is wild.
And so could you break that stat down a little bit better? Are you saying just salons in general across the country?
So I took national average. Yes. US national average. And what a lot of people don't understand is they're like, oh, you know, hair extensions is too expensive. Therefore, I'd rather do this. I can attract a lot more clients.
And you don't need as many. Right.
That statement is correct. You can still make $100,000 a year, but you're going to need 300 clients or 160 clients coming in perfectly every 6 weeks to be able to do that, right? You're going to need quantity.
Yeah. And better shoulders and a better neck. Yeah.
But what people don't realize is, okay, and then they're like, see, I have hundreds of clients. Yes, you do.
That is really interesting.
But your profit margins, you're not, by the time you're paying taxes and costs of doing business and your paycheck yourself and everything else, with the monies that's left over, which is your profit margin, you have such a small profit margin. That's why you need a lot of clients. That's why you need to be doing these services so often. When you have a hair extension client, you're not going to have as many. And if you do, then bless your heart, man, you are freaking rocking it, you know? But you don't need as many clients to generate the income that compares to having 200-300 clients, because the profit margins on hair extensions is far more. There's a lot more room to work in and operate under than in a normal standard service, such as a haircut or a blow dry, or even specialty balayage color services instead of just touch-up color services. You know, your keratin smoothings and your relaxers. Yes, you can specialize in these services. And yes, the profit margins are more than a standard haircut, but nothing compares to hair extensions. That's why 80% of the income is generated from hair extensions.
And that's the end of the story, right? Because when I think about my journey as a stylist, I was so freaking lost, get out of school. And I'm like, I don't even know where I'm going to work. And I just went to work at one of the places that came and did a presentation at the school, J.C. Penney's. It was just one of the ones that seemed a little more professional than the rest, right? So I'm there, and then I'm just taking whatever comes. And you know what came first? I was the new nobody. So they're like, Bernard, that girl wants a manicure. Will you do it? I'm like, I know how to do a manicure. Yeah. So it was like,
better than not doing anything.
That's how I felt. That's how I felt. So I just took whatever at first. So to me, it's my dad always said, you can't steer a ship that isn't moving. And I like the ship analogy because a lot of times steering a ship is not fast and easy, but it's got to be freaking moving, right? So the moving part was, yes, I'll do the manicure. And so I think it was literally a $20 manicure, and my commission was going to be about $9 or $10, you know. And so I thought, well, that's $10 I didn't have before. And I'm sitting around here making zero for lots of hours in a row. And so I started taking different people were like, they felt like they could get value added by sending their clients to me to get manicures. And so they don't realize, I didn't realize at the time either. Thank goodness I'm easy to talk to. And I like the conversations and getting to know people. Everybody was trying to, this is one of the things I remember from the early days. Everybody was a different religion and they were all trying to convert me. Right. So you got,
that's awesome. Yeah.
I was willing and open to listen. That's the thing I remember is like, I'm having good conversations. Somebody's giving me the Jehovah's Witness book. Somebody's talking to me about, I'm like, Hare Krishna. And I'm like, why do y'all shave your head and leave that little hair on top? And she's telling me why her husband does that. And then I've got Catholic, Baptist, non-denominational, all the religions. And so that's one of the things about doing nails is you're sitting like we are right now, face to face. And so you can have a really good conversation. So that turned into artificial nails for me. And so to me, it was like fiberglass nails paid way more than a manicure. So I moved up into that. And then I'm cutting a little hair in between, but I kept looking for what's the thing that does a little bit better than the thing I'm doing right now. Sure. And it didn't take but a few months because I was only at J.C. Penney's for a year before I went to work at a private salon. And somewhere in that year, a guy came in to teach hair extensions. And somewhere during that year, I started figuring out cuts and doing a little bit more color and a little bit more highlights. I became a hairdresser 36 years ago. Color and highlights was not everywhere like it is now. So we talked about color and highlights then, like we talk about extensions right now. Everyone can benefit from extensions. Well, that's what they said about color, but we didn't have it on everybody then. So we were just thinking about trying to get people to. But I'm also learning extensions at the same time, thinking, is it more profitable? Yes, I want to learn it then. So I just kept moving up, and even in the hair replacement. But I love that you're saying it's the most profitable. But I was talking with a guy just this weekend. Oh my God, he's so smart. He said it's the same thing with color. All the high-end services, too many people, they just think that they're gonna walk in the door and they're gonna ask for it. And people aren't trying, and I know the word is wrong. I'm getting ready to say they aren't trying to sell it. So forget about it. They're not even trying to talk about it. They're not talking about it. They're not even
promotion. They're not trying to promote it either. Yeah.
Right. And so I know people get mad. We've had people on this channel say, don't say that word sell. That's a dirty word. You shouldn't try to sell things to people. You should share. It's like, oh, the other S word. Okay. So whatever word makes you feel comfortable. If a person doesn't know you do it or doesn't know it exists, they can't get it. Right. And so I know RJ's big word or phrase for this is helping people solve problems. Hair extensions and color and highlights and nails and cuts, all of the things help people solve problems. So if you're just solving problems with a more profitable service, which is less known, right? So most people don't really know or understand hair extensions. So if you can solve problems, help people, sell hair, I mean, whatever word makes you feel comfortable doing it, bottom line is you just have to bring up the conversation. How many conversation starters do you have with people during the day about the the thing that makes more money.
It makes sense. With the younger stylists, the thing what we try to teach them is each client has a yearly value, and however many of those clients you build up is going to equal how much money you're going to make at the end of the year. And so I'd like to use round number 10. I just use the number 10 because it makes sense to people. When we're trying to explain the 80-20 rule, they're like, oh, 20%, 80%, so many people can't even do simple math nowadays. So it's like it's over their head. So what I try to explain,
calculators on our phones, we don't need to do math,
and they still can't figure it out. And they don't even use the calculators anymore. They ask the chat to figure it out for them, and it explains it to them, and they still can't understand and comprehend it. It's wild. Yeah. It's so wild. But as it goes, so out of every 10 clients, it would take you 8 clients. You would have to do 8 clients to make the same money, equal money of just doing 2 hair extension clients.
Right.
That's the percentage difference. On average, but here is where the math gets crazy, and this is where things gets fun. For yearly income, the value of each client, if they're a haircut client, a color client, if they're any other client that's not a hair extension client, each one of those clients, price range wise, you will make approximately $3,000 to $6,000 off of those clients. And the reason why it's that range is because some people will only ever get haircuts or only get blow dries or they'll only get hair color, whatever it is. So the range is about $3,000 to $6,000 per client. That's non-hair extension.
Okay.
You want to take a guess what an average hair extension client value is on the year?
Nope.
8,000 to 10,000. Look at that jump. Listen to that jump. From 3,000 to 6,000 is a non-hair extension client average yearly value. Your average yearly value hair extension client is $8,000 to $10,000.
So if we just say 5 and 10, we're saying double.
Even if you went like that, yeah, it's
double.
Wild.
So,
it's so wild.
So each client, you're saying?
Each client.
Yeah.
Is an increase, is 8,000 to 10,000. So if you have, it just every client you add on, it just adds on that much more value to your annual income. It is insane increase.
Yeah, and people are just scared of extensions, and I get it. There were so many that were the big things where it takes too much time. It's very expensive, so I'm scared to sell it. I can't sell something I can't afford. That's the biggest hurdle I think most people.
So I got the follow up to that one.
Oh, go ahead.
I got the follow up to that. Like I said, I went deep on this one because of those fear factors or those concerns that things that makes you nervous that you just mentioned.
Yep.
Only 35% of salons and stylists even attempt to get into the hair extension market. And unfortunately, I think it's a half-ass attempt because as soon as they fail, they just jump out really fast.
Well, worse than that, right? There's so many very hard ones to learn that they're getting into ones that cause damage, cause problems, cause pain, and they're like, I don't want to. I'm out.
So now, flip that around. You have a 65% chance opportunity to succeed. It's an untapped resource, service, market. Like I always, you can look at it negative. You have a choice, right? You're either negative about it or positive about it.
That's right.
So if there's only 35% people attempting,
that's a choice. I don't have to be sad.
No. Okay. You should look at that as, well, okay, now I got a strong chance here. Like this is freaking awesome,
Right.
I'm being a cheerleader about this, but that's the whole point. You gotta go in and be positive. You gotta go in and have that mindset of, you know what? Could I fail? Yeah, of course you could fail, but you could also succeed. And it's like, what does failing even mean? Like, what does that fear even mean? Like, oh, I'm scared. What are you scared of? What is going to...
I know. That's a great question.
I can't say madam anymore. So I would say, Mrs. Ma'am, would you like to get hair extensions? No, I would not. Okay. Carry on to the next part of the conversation. Like, what are they going to do? Turn around and be like, no, don't you ever ask me again.
Right.
Nobody's going to do that to you.
Blanca, is that you? Am I getting the right? Is it Blanca, Stella?
What's that?
I see a comment that says it's got a lot of letters and numbers and an at symbol, and I think I recognize the face, but it's so tiny.
You came for class recently, and you had so much fun in class.
Right.
Like, you weren't scared when you were in class. You felt
there was a little fear there, which is fine. But I mean, to me, it's okay to be scared as long as you're moving forward. You know what I'm saying? I sometimes, like just last night, my son, actually early this morning, my son scared the heck out of my wife because he was like, "Mom, are you awake?" And she's like, "Whoa, where did you come from? God, it's so right in your face." And so she yells like, "Ah!" And then I get all scared. God. And then he's just there because he's like, "I heard a thump. I'm scared." And like, well, I'm a little scared too now. Where was this thump? And it's like, I'm going to go through that house and look around scared, but I'm moving forward, right? Because I got the
fight or flight response kicked in. You're ready to go.
It's like, I mean, what choice do I have? I mean, I was made the man, and if I don't know, honey, go do it. I don't know. I think I'm.
None of the boys were home, so you got designated. You know.
Yeah. Well, my dogs are just like, huh? So I'm like, I think everything's fine because they have a better hearing and sense, and they're not sensing any danger or anything wrong in the house because they bark at the weirdest stuff. You know, car on the road half a mile away, they're looking before I can hear the road. So I was pretty sure everything is fine, but the fear doesn't stop me. So we are covering like all the things move forward. I knew we were talking about marketing today, but I didn't even think we'd bring it into extensions, but I kind of like that because I always tried to move up to the more profitable service. It wasn't always extensions either, you know, and it might be something different in the future or even in the very near future, but I tried to move up, like I said, into artificial nails. I did airbrush and spray tanning. I got tanning beds in the salon. I did the Japanese straighteners when they first came out because they were so expensive. All the keratin type services. We tied individual hairs, like 3 hairs to 1 hair kind of thing. And that was individual eyelashes, eyelash extensions. There's a lot of things that have come out along the way that were a little more profitable than the one thing we were doing. We tried them all, you know, and along the way, I have to say, I did kind of settle on hair extensions and hair replacement. So between these two, Blanca, did I say it wrong? I always called her Stella or Blanca, and it looks like I'm okay in calling her either because she put them both there. Yeah, she did have some fear in the class. We brought in a live model, and I let her go on this model. I helped with placement, but yeah, there's always fear in the class too because you're getting judged by the person they perceive as way better than them. So they're like, oh God, he's watching me. If I do it wrong, he's gonna judge me somehow. I know that's there. I can't do it without looking. So I try to teach a little and walk away and say, do a little bit by yourself while I'm not watching. Maybe you can feel a little at ease, and I'll come back and I can still kind of see some things that were done wrong. And so, yeah, I know there's fear in a class. Something I have been doing lately, Eddie, I don't know if you knew this, but I've been having people ask me about classes and joining me for different things. And Rose has always got to call me and ask me, hey, somebody wants to get this class, but they want to know a little bit about this or this and that. And so I just came out with a flat fee. I said, you know what? I'll spend the day one-on-one. Let's just do some one-on-ones. Like when Blanca came, it was just me and her. And I don't know what the charge was, probably a little bit less, or she said what she wanted. But I'm doing $1,000 for the day. $1,000 for my time. And if they want, and we can loan a lot of things. So if you wanted to learn beaded strands, beaded wefts, I mean, how to use Facebook to market your business, or hair replacement, or just K-tips, keratin strand extensions, all the things that I've done to make me successful. If you just want to learn basic hair cutting, you can come in for that if you want to, because I've done some cuts lately that are very controversial. I have a way of, it kills me. I'm gonna go postal here for a minute, but they call me lazy and sloppy. Only about a third. Most people love this haircut that I did, and it's just not traditional. It's a very non-traditional way of getting to the end result. And I'm far from lazy, far from sloppy, and this cut is just so fast and easy. People just don't understand it. Too many don't understand it. And so they're criticizing me because it's not the 5,000 sections, Sassoon trained, and it's not sloppy. And you could call it lazy, but I don't like that word because it is fast and easy. But to me, that's just efficient and smart. So I'm getting a lot of love on it. More hate on this particular cut than any, because the way I cut this graduated bob really fast. But I can cut it horizontal sections. I can cut it with vertical sections. I can cut it with clippers. I can do it lots of ways. I can blend. Look, I need a haircut right now, so don't judge this haircut. But I remember being in haircutting in the salon, and it wasn't at Penny's. I was not good at haircutting. That's why I excelled in nails for a while. It took me, I can remember being in it right at about 3 or 4 years, and I can remember cutting this one lady's hair, and it just blew up in my mind. I was like, I get the angles all of a sudden. I didn't quite get why we picked hair up to cut it. I didn't get why it fell in the layers. I didn't get why the same length hair here and the same length here would fall like differently. They would end in different places. I thought you cut one length hair. I didn't get at one length hair, the ones coming from down here are way shorter hairs than the one that come from 6, 7, my giant head, 8 inches higher, maybe a foot higher than the other one. The same length hair, the ones coming from the top of my head are a foot longer to reach that destination, right? So all of a sudden I understood all haircuts at this angle and from this angle. If the hair was blown up, exploded view, you know, like an engine, they show in those books and you got all the parts just expanded view. I got the haircuts like I knew what a square, a circle, a rectangle, just where you would cut to get it to fall and then what it would look like. But that took years to figure out. And so some of those basics I teach now when I do a haircutting class. So I told RJ and Rose, I said, listen, my time for a day, $1,000. I think it's low. My wife thinks it's low, but we're going to go with it for a little while and come in, spend 8 hours with me and learn anything. Now, to be smart, I said, you know what? Hair replacement, that's the one that's a little more tedious and involved. We probably should just do hair replacement if somebody comes in for a day, because even after a day, you're going to have some questions and I'll work with you after that. We might need some coaching over the phone to keep it going. Some people don't, but almost everything else, I can touch on everything. And if somebody wants a little preview of everything, we can do 20 minutes to an hour on a whole bunch of different things. I don't feel Facebook marketing. And that's where I want to go after you finish your list, because that's where the secrets are going to come from me. But let's make sure that we're on target.
So that's we could, let's talk about Facebook marketing, because Facebook marketing is going to lead into lead generation and people are going to start contacting you and they're going to start talking to you. So then what are going to be some of the approaches on how you respond? So let's set the stage here.
Well, let's go back a tiny bit. I said Facebook because I think most people that watch us know that I'm going to favor Facebook, but it's not just because I don't have any stock in Facebook. I don't care which one it is. The thing is, the guy who taught me, he has he's younger than me too. And so you would think that he'd be on Snap or Instagram where the young people are. But the fact is, you literally look up the stats, like which social media has the most people. Facebook still is there. They might not always be there, but right now they're there, not to mention they own Instagram and WhatsApp and a few other things. So that was something Jude said. He said, do you think Facebook's going to let Instagram get ahead when Meta owns them both? I said, I never thought about that. He said they bought Instagram to learn from them to make Facebook better. That's why Facebook came out with Reels and Stories and the other things that they didn't have before, because Instagram did so well with them and they had a bigger base to get started. Sure, the ages might be a little bit different in each platform, but I thought it would be smart to say that all the social medias are wonderful places to be. It is the new word of mouth. It is the way you communicate with your audience. And so if you're really good on TikTok or Instagram and you're killing it, I'm not saying leave that platform and go to Facebook. I'm just saying if you're starting from nowhere, don't know what to do, or you don't understand social media, and you're just kind of throwing a few pictures out here and there, and you're trying to do them all or just one, and you don't know what to do, and you're going to step back. Because I spent a good year and a half on Instagram before I landed on, you know what, my last post on Instagram might be over a year and a half old now, because I kind of left it behind because I started seeing the power in Facebook. Now I'm talking about a personal Instagram. I have people helping me post on our business Instagrams, you know, just to keep in front of people. But that to me is still a weak way of using social media. I have learned recently that Facebook is the most powerful one to grow a local business. And I think we're helping mostly hairdressers, right? Instagram and TikTok especially grow on interests. So if we both like something to do with hair, then we're going to see posts from hairdressers worldwide, and some from Mars and the moon. It's universal, you know, it's everywhere. And Facebook is the only one that's a little more unique, and it's a friend request system on the personal profile. So it's recommending friends of your friends, which tend to all live in a similar area. So that's one of the, I'm not going to keep going on this. I'll do some more on it in a minute, but I just wanted to throw that out there. That's why we pick Facebook, and then how to use it, I'll talk about in a minute. But back to you, Eddie.
So the main thing, what a lot of people get confused about. Oh no, thank you, Bernard. You know, yeah, right. You always got to take the hand off. You know,
back to you, Eddie.
The thing what most people get confused about, or something that scares a lot of stylists, especially when they're starting to talk about expensive services. And I'm focusing on hair extensions only because that is the most expensive service that we generally talk about. But what I'm about to say applies to everything. Come up with your price structure. Everybody usually, you would be surprised how many stylists are winging it on their pricing. They really don't have a set range. They're like, I guess I'll start it at 95 and see where we go from there. I guess we'll start it from 30 and see where we go from there.
Depends on what they drive up in.
That's right. That's the whole thing.
I've heard that before too. I was like, are you kidding me?
No, I've had stylists. Yeah, they look out the window, they see what car they pulled up in or how they got dropped off, and then they determine it after that. There's so many weird things. When you are trying to wing it, the psychological mentality that you don't realize, the energy that you're putting off, what you don't realize involuntarily is that you don't look, sound, or feel confident because you're playing poker. You're throwing a bluff on a dead hand, and you're hoping the person folds and just takes what you say without question. When the client starts questioning, and all of a sudden now that hits you, you know, you weren't prepared. You don't have a prepared answer for that. And you're sitting there contemplating, and you start doing the that whole thing destroys your entire pitch. Most stylists fold. They just say, "Oh, never mind, whatever," and then they just try to salvage whatever they can, what's left of the service. But when you have a price range already set in your mind, when somebody asks you a question, or when they're trying to make a deal, or they're trying to barter with you, whatever it is they're trying to do, you have a low number and you have a high number that you're willing to work within that range of. Depending on your feeling in the moment with the client, you liking them, you're liking the way the vibe is going, the energy is going, you may come down a little bit on what you initially asked for or wanted. Conversely, you might want to stick it to the person. You'd be like, "No, you know what? To hell with you. I'm coming up on my number. You know, you are not worth my headache. I'm charging you the PITA tax." So either way, whatever you decide, because you have that range. Now, here's the other difference that happens. When you have your ranges set, your price ranges set, when somebody starts asking you to describe to them, and you have your 30-second elevator pitch of you are now about to provide your services, okay? You've gotten to that point in the conversation where you're going to actually start talking about your prices. Start off with the highest prices. Start off with the most expensive service, the most involved service, the most labor intensive service. Start off with that one. That should be your first one. The second service should be the service that you hate doing the most. And then the third service should be your absolute favorite service. The reason why you do it in that order, you're setting the stage for your value, the most value that you can provide to somebody. And then you're justifying that because you're showing them how willing you are to do the most labor intensive or the most annoying service to you, whatever it is. Like, I can't stand doing it. You'd be surprised how good I've gotten at doing it. You know, you are now proofing and reinforcing, justifying that high value. Okay. And then when you go in and you start talking about your favorite service as the third thing, follow up, you just can't help it. When you're talking about your favorite thing, your whole demeanor changes, your energy changes, you start smiling, you start sounding happy, you know, and that's where the emotional connection comes in, because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Right. And then there you start going down the list of however much else you want to talk about. Or you can stop right there and not continue to go down the list, and you can throw it back to the person you're speaking to. What kind of services are you looking for? You know, I do a whole bunch of different stuff. I don't want to sit here and rattle it all off to you. We'll be here all day. What actually are you looking for? So you could go that direction as well. And now you're giving them a professionalism rather than giving them a service menu like a drive-through and they got to pick something from the board. You know, it's such a powerful tactic that is just not employed very often and very well. And the reason why it's not employed very often is because we like to show off in our own ways, under our own conditions and our own levels. When somebody asks us directly to show off, now you've got the spotlight on you. Not good at performing under that pressure immediately. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And it's easier to come down from prices than it is to go up, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you start high and then you settle on the thing you do most or like to do, I think a lot of people, not that this is what we're looking for, think of it as a discount or a break. They're like, ooh, that's way less money than he started with. Thank goodness. And if you just started with your price immediately, like, ooh, that's high. But no matter what price you say first sounds high or more than they wanted to pay, most likely. So then when you come down from that with these things you do mostly or mostly like that happens to be less expensive, it does sound like a deal. And so that's a tactic that I don't think you were trying to aim for, but it just kind of happens when you take that approach. So I just had an aha moment myself. I was going to talk about this anyway, but I had a realization of why it should be done. So on Facebook, let's just stick to Facebook. It should be done with any and all the social medias you're on. It's funny because I'm coaching this guy that did not ask me to coach. They asked me to speak at their dental thing at the end of the year, right? And they want me to speak about how to use social media between the profile and the page. And so I'm kind of stalking what he does on social media. And he does a lot of great posts on social media. And then people comment 1 or 2 or 3 times, sometimes 0, sometimes 15, 20 comments. He rarely answers any of them. And so I think that a lot of people look at, and then even when I'm here, I always realize when I start talking about social media, it's never linear because we're all at a different knowledge level. And I'm assuming you know a little bit about something. You know what I'm assuming? You know how to post. And a lot of people don't know how to post. And I have a class for that. And then there's when you post, you should be posting a story and a reel at the same time. So you should be posting 3 times every time you post on Facebook. Let's assume you knew that already. And you post some words, something compelling, a picture, a video, and then somebody says, I really like that haircut, Stella. How did you do that? Or just they don't even ask a question. Stella, I liked your haircut. And then 2 days go by and you post again another something, and they're like, wow, that's beautiful. And 3 or 4 other people say it. And another couple of days goes by. That to me, and I did it. So guys, I know I did it. That is so freaking rude for you not to thank them, not to answer their questions. So I'm starting to realize like social media is the new word of mouth, but too often, too many people are using it like a billboard. Social media is supposed to be give and take. It's supposed to be
social. It's supposed to be social.
Yeah. And the way we're using it is we gawk at we stalk other people's stuff, and we just watch, and then we go away. And then we're like, oh, my grandkid's cute. I bet people want to see her or see him. And they put a picture out there, and then people say, oh, she's so cute. Silence. It's like, that's not normal. That's not social. The way, and this was the aha moment I had. When you go onto Facebook in the morning, which you should do, just like your freaking telephone, you check your voicemail at least once a day. Some people don't, but there was a world that's voicemail's almost not there anymore because we text instead. But there was a time where you checked your voicemail. You checked that cassette recorder at home. You go home like, oh, we've been gone a couple of hours. The phone only rings at home before cell phones. We got to check our voicemail. Maybe somebody left a message. We got to check our email. When the computers came out, somebody might be trying to get in touch with me. It's something you have to put into your plan, your life. And I don't think enough people put those simple steps or habits in their life to inherently become successful. You when you answer your phone, it tells you if you have voicemail, right? So when you go to Facebook first thing in the morning, which you should, or anytime during the day, you should be going to the notifications and seeing who commented on what. But if you're just posting a little bit, you might be able to just go there and answer everybody, because you should be answering, even if it's not a question. Oh, she is so cute. Thank you so much. We think so too. That's where the social starts for social media. That's where the interaction starts. That's where the communication, the authentic, sincere communication starts. And so then if you're posting something about doing hair or doing anything at work, people know you will answer them. So they will ask you questions about hair. You want them to ask you questions about your work so you can answer and do their hair. But if you don't communicate with them, you're just stupid. Is that allowed to be said? I mean, and I was stupid for a long time. You've got to say. You
could say stupid, you could say rude, you could plug and play in whatever word you want. So imagine
irresponsible.
You're talking to somebody, and like, I'll bring up your example that you said, oh, my grandkid just did something really cute. I should share that. I think other people would like to see this, right? Okay. So just think about that. If you was outside at the park and you're sitting on the bench and let me
translate for you. He said at the park.
At the puck.
The puck. Puck. I thought you said hockey puck. I was like, a puck? What's that? What's a puck? Oh, and then I
get it.
My context blows out. You're like, oh, puck.
I got you.
So
So you're at the playground. I'll say it that way. Okay. And you're sitting on the bench. You're hanging out. You're watching your kid running around doing something, right? Or you're at the dog park, and your dog's sitting there doing something, and somebody's standing next to you. And they say, "Oh, look at that! That's so cool," or "That's so cute." Is that yours?
And you just say this?
No, not even say yes. You're just sitting there going.
You say nothing. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely nothing. Right. No response whatsoever. And the person's like, "Hello, I just asked you, or I just told you, like I just paid you a compliment, something," and you're just like,
nothing. That's what people are doing on social media, and
that's what you're describing.
Similarly, that's what Jude said people do in a grocery store when somebody says, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a long time." You're like, "Hi," and they're like, "How are you doing?" You're like, "I'm doing great. I've got highlights on sale for $35 this week."
No, hi, how are you doing back? How are you been? What's going on by you?
You what? I didn't even know you were a hairdresser. I mean, what are you talking about? Now, there are some people that are pretty smooth and they can work that kind of stuff in. Like, how are you doing? I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. I'm worn out. I started running this sale and I got so many people coming in. It's crazy. What sale? I mean, there are smart ways to get that marketing out there, but that's what Facebook, that's the equivalent of people on Facebook. Like, I got 2 openings. I mean, nobody asked. Nobody asked if you have openings or about your sales. So it's just let's title this the stupid things that we do. And I've done them all. So I know. So that's just stupid to start. I do like the word stupid. And I know I'm turning off some people. They just hate the word, but it's just so silly to start with your sales, your discounts, you know. I remember you said something like you should have at least 5. Yeah. So that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, Stella. She, you know, this is not a complete Facebook class, but I'll go into it just a tiny bit. People are trying to start pages and groups. So this is going to be a secret. Okay. This is going to cover the topic that we're supposed to be talking about today. I hope we've covered it in other areas today, but this is a secret actually that most people don't get. You don't start marketing your business in a page. On Facebook, that I think I've hopefully convinced some people that this is the place to start. You can be in a personal profile, the one you're supposed to be sharing the friends and family stuff and the pictures of your kids and your life and your dinner. And then there's a page like, I just started a business. Let me start a Facebook page for my business. Well, the page is kind of like a website for your business. And then you have a few people buying from you and they're super interested, and your customers are like, you're having these communications with your customers inside the page a little bit. And you're like, well, you know what? I want to have a better relationship with this small group of people that I'm actually selling stuff to instead of the ones I'm just trying to market to that have never bought from me. So I'm going to start a private group for just people who have paid so I can continue to, I don't know, help them have a better experience with the products I've sold them or services I've sold them. And if I have a new service that comes out, these are the people that care and already come to me. So I'll tell them, hey guys, I just learned something new. Anybody interested? And so there's a way to use the profile, the page, and the group. And I would start with the personal profile. And I would say, you first of all, Stella is reminding me here that in the personal profile, you can have 5,000 friends before you get cut off by Facebook, or they start trying to turn it into a business page or making you an influencer. And it's kind of a cross between a profile and a page. But at first, you're just a human and you've got friends, and you should be friend requesting people within your line of work, people that might get that service or product from you. And so you should be friend requesting all your customers first, and then at least one of their friends. So you can go to your friend's profile and see their friend list. Facebook will recommend it to you. I see you're friends with Stella. So-and-so might also be interested in you, and you might want to friend request this person. You'll have one mutual friend. So now I friend request Stella's hairdresser friend because she might want to do extensions, is how I'm thinking. Or you're like, I'm going to do that to my haircuts friend might also want a haircut from me. So you friend request them. People accept friend requests way faster and easier than they accept, would you like my business page? Would you like jump into my private group? For what? We don't have anything in common. But if it starts off where we have a mutual friend, would you like to be my friend also? People accept friend requests because friend requests are non-threatening. They're just like, you might have an interesting life that I might want to see. And I did see your kid that once. He has some cute red hair. I'd like to see more of that little curly red haired kid's life, or those golden doodles you have. That's what's interesting in my life, right? My wife, my kid, my dogs, my chickens, my turtles, and my beehives. That is, that's some of the, and I do hair. And so, the hair is where I make the money, but people are interested in me and my life, right? And so if I post anything about the thing that makes me money, it's more like I post the emotions about it, not the money about it. Please come to me. I have 2 openings left. I need to fill these up so that I can make $20 more this week, $100 more this week. that's like begging, and it's just really unattractive. If you're just like, look what I've already done this week, look at this. Oh my God, she's excited. I'm excited. What a change I've made in this person's life. That's why people drink the Kool-Aid on remote islands and all die together. It's for inspiration. They don't do it because they're told. So you don't tell people, come to me, I'm good, I'm going to cut your hair. And they're like, you're weird. It's more like, look what I've done. And then people want to follow the fun, the excitement. I've already done this for her. Look at her happy face. Look at my happy face. We're all happy. And then people are like, how do I get involved with that happy stuff? And then they want to come. They want to look good. They want to get involved. So you brag, you love, you do all the positive emotions into words and pictures and videos in your personal profile. And then people will ask there, wait, how did you do that? What does it cost? And so friend request, friend request, friend request. And as that number grows, and then you say, you know what? I need a business page. So then you open the business page that's like Stella does hair. And then in that business page, it says, as you're opening it, who would you like to invite to follow this page? Friends from your personal profile? Oh, yes. What a great idea. Well, I've only got 50 friends on my personal profile because I was stupid and didn't understand I was supposed to actually communicate with people and have relationships with people and accept friend requests and ask people to be my friend. So now just do it strategically. Do it with a plan. Ask people to be your friend. Accept people to be your friend. Go through your settings and open them all up to be public. I know some of you people are dealing with some really traumatizing issues in relationships, and you can't open that stuff up. And I get it. That's a whole different story. But most of us, if you're trying to hide from the government, give it up, buddy. If you're on TikTok, the government and other governments already know about you. So just forget about it.
What? No.
People think that if I open up my settings, the government's going to know about me. If you're looking at a screen anytime, anywhere, or talking around this thing, they know. They already know everything about you. Stop hiding. Open up your settings. Make it
Take all tablet, all electronics, throw it.
Right. Go live in the woods and no
that meme
electronics.
where he takes the computer and throws it in the dumpster, you know?
Yeah. So I've been doing some Facebook classes recently, and I will go through the settings and I'm like, make that public. They're like, they're going to know I have children then. I'm like, you don't think people know you have children? You post about your children. You showing them at karate, and now you want to go keep this one setting private, but you've got videos trying to promote your this board breakathon. Everybody knows you have a kid. They know how old. They can see it. You are not hiding from anything. Sure, don't put on there, we're going to be gone for the next 7 days. There'll be nobody at our house, and our back door doesn't lock. We just
right. You know, I mean, at our house at 1, 2, 3, 4, any town, any street, you know, USA. Right. Yeah, no, don't be saying that.
Obviously, there's a few, right? I mean, with cameras, get a camera system. We got cameras on our house, you know. And people are going to be staying at our house for dog sitting, but we're going to go enjoy Australia for a week and a half. So don't take anything out of our house. Nobody keeps money at home anymore. It's all in the bank. I mean, what are they going to steal from your house? That one flat screen TV, and then you're going to have to buy another $300, $700. So, I mean, the point is, don't operate in fear, right? Open up your settings, friend request people, start a page soon after, but try to get as many friends as you can. Take advantage of the number Facebook's letting you have, 5,000 friends. Take advantage of that. And that's what people are flying in town for and spending a day with me. I spent a couple of hours with a girl, and I just went to her regular pictures in her phone. And I showed her how to use some video editing. That's another class that I've been teaching people how to video edit through Video Leap. And we just took some pictures and some videos and sandwiched them all together. And it was some before and after hair extensions. We post them about 3 times that day while she was here. We did a little in the beginning of the day, a little in the middle, a little at the end on Facebook while we were learning extensions throughout the day. And she had people like raving about her extension work. She had already done extensions before she saw me. And it was a different brand. I don't care. Nobody knew what kind they were. It was just before and afters. It looked great. And people were loving it, commenting, liking it. Ironically, it was her birthday that day or the day before. So she had about 400 birthday wishes. I said, you got to go
awesome.
You got to go through there and thank every single one of them
Every
personally.
single one. Yes.
And she said, what? I said, oh, you don't like these people? She goes, well, yeah, they're my friends. I said, then why are you ignoring them? And she's like, what do you mean? I said, right. So to me, it's amazing that I didn't understand Facebook for a long time. Jude helped open my eyes to it. It's like, it is the relationship of today's. That's what social media is. It's supposed to be, but it has messed up some relationships. A lot of people don't know how to have relationships anymore. They like my son with the pizza that came to the door the other day. He wanted him to just put it down. He would get it. He didn't want to talk to the guy. I understand it and I get it, but I don't agree with it. You've got to have,
you got to make a decision on how you're going to conduct your business and how you want your business to interact. The way you interacted online is going to be a reflection on how you interact your business in person, and vice versa.
True.
If you built an expectation in person and now now they friend you online because now they like coming to see you, and you're not giving them the same experience online as they just got from you in person, there's going to become a mismatch, right? The second most powerful thing you can do is dressing up your station to create a referral system. And that mirror is, it drives me personally crazy.
That mirror is your social media. I remember
the station, the mirror on the station at the stylist. Every time I see a stylist station with a clean mirror, there's not a lot of tchotchkes around it, or there's not a lot of pictures, not a lot of
busier. You want it marketing and speaking to people.
Why? I understand. Okay, don't misunderstand me right now. I understand why a mirror is 4 foot by 4 foot or 6 foot by 3 foot. You know, I understand why the mirrors are big. I get it. And yes, we do need the mirror to see the balance and to do hair and to do whatever.
Right.
But at the same time, you do not need all that real estate.
Right.
Especially the mirror edges. Okay? You don't. And it drives me mental when I see somebody's station, when they have framework pictures of their dog and of their family, and then they have other things, but they won't put a little pop-up advertisement on there.
Look, I got some advertising going on.
That's what I'm saying. Hang your hair extensions off your mirror. Why not get a command hook, stick it right onto the mirror, hang some hair extensions, put your coloring up on there. I say this all the time. It's the easiest, quickest thing you can do. Look at how beautiful that looks. If anything, somebody's going to comment about just how cool that is, or what is that? They're going to say, oh, look at that color. They're going to say, what are those red things?
Right.
Anything to trigger a conversation to open that door, so you have full permission to shotgun a whole bunch of information at them. And don't be shy to ask for referrals.
Remember when On Stage Extensions told us they would never do rooted hair? They did it.
And now they did it, right?
Yeah. And never say never.
Well, it's an evolution. Enough people like it, enough people request it. If it makes enough sense, then you evolve your market share.
Yeah.
You know, and you start expanding. And that's a great thing. That's always a great thing. At the end of the day, you are your most powerful thing. They were interviewing the actor, you know, Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
And they were asking, I freaking love the guy. I love his movies, you know, and just, I love listening to his speeches and his motivational things that he does too with the Actors Guild, with the Film Actors Guild. And one of the things that stood out to me was they were asking him one time, are you ever concerned about cancel culture or getting canceled?
What did he say?
And his response was, who's going to cancel me? I'm the only person who can cancel myself. Who else can cancel me?
That's
and he
good.
goes, well, aren't your followers or the people that are your fans, aren't they a form of currency as well too that affects you? He says, if the person is my fan, then they're buying what I am showing. If they're no longer my fan, then they're no longer buying what I'm showing. Then I don't have a responsibility to them anymore. I've lost them. So then my only responsibility is to myself and to my family to stay true to who I am and to who my family believes me to be. I have to judge myself when I look at myself in the mirror every day. No one else. So nobody can cancel me except for myself.
Right.
And I can only put out there what I believe to be true and what I am proud of.
Right.
Somebody's going to like it or they're not.
Cancel culture only works for people that are faking something on the outside, right? Those celebrities that are acting like they're somebody on, and it can get away with it for years at a time,
Yeah.
but they're just not really that person. And then they do something in society that's extremely rude, bigoted, or racist. And it's like, that's people to get canceled. It's not that they got canceled. They revealed who they were.
That's the problem.
Right. And Denzel's right. Like if you're real and true, you can't get canceled, or you just never make it. Right. It's when you're fake, acting like something, and people are like, oh, I like you. And then you're like, oh, I just found out who the real you is. I don't like it. That's fine. That's fine.
That's what it's about. That's what the whole thing is about. It attracting people around you. You will, if you are true to who you are, if you're a real person, like you're saying, you're automatically going to attract people around you. People are going to like you.
Everybody has friends, some a little more than others. That's your customer base. That's what you start with. The people who like you.
Don't presume and don't spend other people's money for them.
We don't have time to break that down.
No, I'm just saying, like,
I know what you mean.
And say, this is how much I charge. There is a price for everybody. There's a market for everything. You set your prices here, you're going to attract people here. You set your prices here, you're going to attract people here. You're going to attract everybody somewhere, somehow, but you got to put yourself out there first.
People that are not charging enough, it's going to take them another 6 months to understand that. But I think we should do a whole thing about
then we can tackle that subject on another day at another time, but that's what I got.
All right. Well, I got to call Stella now. She's got Facebook questions.
Nice.
No, it is not.
Have fun helping Stella.
Well, that was good. Thank you, Eddie. See you next week.
Yep. Thank you all for watching. Catch you later.
Subscribe, comment, like. Eddie is begging you.